What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our final week in the WSS. Unfortunately, after this, we will not be continuing with this league. We decided to drop out and try to focus on a couple different things. I'll be going more depth about why I did drop out at the end of this video, so if you want to watch that, then skip the battle and go towards the end. If you want to just watch the battle and you don't care if I dropped out, then that's totally fine too. You can watch the battle, but be sure to smash the like button, sub to the channel, and check out my opponent's side of the match. It'll be in the description down below. I do believe he uploaded his Teambuilder, so I get some more perspective on what sort of sets he brought in, and I can sort of commentate a bit more about the battle itself. So today I'm bringing in a Choice Specs modest, or not modest, it might be timid. I'm pretty sure it's timid. Sylveon. This pretty much deals with everything on his team. I've got Hyper Voice, Hidden Power Ground, and the Hyper Beam just to take down Necrozoma from full. It actually one-hit KOs it. It is fantastic. It is terrifying. We got Sneasel over here just because he does have Salamence. Of course, I have to bring it in just in case things get out of control and stuff goes down. I can just click Ice Shard and simply take it down. We got Kappening, really good against this team. Takes on the Arcanine, takes on other things too. I originally had Toxic Spikes, but I said, you know what, let's go for Hidden Power Ground and Hex, just because that's some good coverage right over there. Then we've got our AV Buzzwole. So this is meant to take on a Moonblast from Diancie, and this is one of the coolest sets that I brought in. So Hammer Arm, Gyro Ball, Ice Punch, and Leech Life. Pretty much it takes on the whole team relatively well, which is fantastic for me because that's something that I do want. And yeah, it has a really good matchup this week. It actually does take on a defensive Shaman. I've noticed that he likes to bring in a bulky Shaman, so I was sort of expecting that. Leech Life does enough to a point where if he goes for Air Slash or something like that, we're going to recover a decent amount of HP. And it takes on one hit from Mega Diancie, so that's pretty bulky for anything. Then we've got our Toxic Spike Roserade. Pretty much, Shaman does absolutely nothing. If he wants a 1v1 with Roserade, by all means, go for it, man. Go for it, because that is a battle that he will not win. And then we've got our Coil Zygarde. I noticed that a offensive Arcanine actually really puts a new one to my team, and I decided, you know what? I need to make a defensive mon that is relatively bulky. So that's where Coil Zygarde came in, and hopefully that can work out. So right away I'm just going to lean off with my Specs Sylveon. It does a lot of work to his team, and potentially we can get rocks out of our side. So I'm just going to fire off a Hyper Voice. I had an option of going for a Hyper Beam, decided Hyper Voice is a better play because I can switch out, and rocks actually don't do a lot to my team, so I was like, you know, that's fine, that's totally cool, that's fine. I'm going to switch out, go right into my Zygarde because it walls it relatively well. It can go for a substitute Zygarde. So this is a big moment in this battle because if I go for substitute, I can get up a Coil or something, or if he's a Willow set, I can get up substitute because most likely he won't have any speed investment. If he's an offensive variant, then he'll switch out. So this is a good moment of the match because it gives me a lot of information that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't have expected, but this tells me he doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. I can fire off 1,000 arrows and I get some really solid information at this moment because this is a Spadef Shaman. I'm pretty sure it's a Spadef, but it's invested in HP. So I was like, alright, cool, now I can just go into Ruby. Ruby can take on this thing, but he does get the Spadef drop. That does a lot of damage to me, and I'm like, that sucks. That really sucks. So I have to sack off Ruby over here. Unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and he gets a crit over here, and I'm like, come on, stop it, buddy, please, have mercy. Just bad. So I'm gonna lose 2 Pokemon to a Shaman that shouldn't have taken down 2 Pokemon, and that sucks. We do have the Toxic Spikes up, but it still sucks. So now I just gotta go for a knockoff. And he's just going to bring out Arcanine. I still have my Kappening and Zygarde, so I was like, alright, let's go right into Kappening. Let's see what he does. He makes an aggressive double, predicting my Zygarde. As I'm like, alright, this is fine, because now I can just fire off a Hex. And that's good, because that's going to be doing a lot of damage, but he gets this... Now, I'll tell you how big this one was. Like, on top of the Spadef drop and the crit, and landing all the seed bombs and then getting this special attack drop. This one was the one that really hurt, because later down the battle, this Dancy won't be taking, like the normal roll would have been 50 to 60%. So keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. Keep that particular. So it would have been at 20%, and it shouldn't have. It would have been at 10%. So I'm like, oh, now I have to change my play. I have to go for Icicle Crash, because knockoff is a roll, and yeah, sometimes that's just the way life is. And unfortunately, I have to lose my Tinder at this moment. Not great, because now Dancy sort of rolls over my team, and life is looking pretty frightening. So I figured, let's go for the coil. Poison won't take it down. He does barely anything, which is great. But this is just absolutely fantastic. And Dancy comes out, and I'm like, Remember when I said that special attack drop was big? Well, it was pretty big, because at this moment, Dancy does a lot of damage. It shouldn't have done that much damage. And he's Intimidate, so he could have just played that game of like switching out and switching in, switching out. Wouldn't really change the game and whatnot, but we will lose 2-0 to a very haxy battle. GG to my opponent. I want to say that he outplayed me and did all that, but I felt like this was a battle that was heavily tilted against myself, and what a way to end your WSS season, from my perspective. And right now we'll talk a bit about the reason why I'm not continuing the WSS anymore. And it's not because of this loss right here. It wasn't, you know, the tipping point or anything. I sort of had it in my head that I was going to drop out at some point of the season. And this week was just really bad for multiple leagues. I think just like what really tipped me off was the fact that I was spending a lot of my days off and weekends building teams and doing all that, and it was sort of frustrating for me for that, because I wasn't really enjoying leagues as much as I should have. And unfortunately the WSS gets the grunt force of that, and that isn't fair to a lot of the opponents or a lot of the people in the WSS, because this is one of the leagues that, you know, I met a lot of cool people, and I really wanted to battle a lot of people too. People like Mora, people like Josh Hoo-Ha, Danex came in. I really wanted to play him too. So it's not fair to a lot of the people that I was going to play and whatnot. So I do apologize on my end for that one, but I wasn't enjoying it as much. And like I said before, when you're spending your days off and whatever free time you have building a team, it's frustrating, because you want to, you know, have life outside of YouTube and outside of, you know, draft leagues and whatnot. So that's what really tipped the decision in this point, where I had to like, all right, this is it. This is why I have to try to get some time for myself when I can, because draft leagues were taking a lot of time. It was doable, but it was something that I wasn't really enjoying, because I'd go out and do something, I'd be like, I have to build a team for this, and it was always in the back of my head, and it really affected my just my attitude and my how precious my time was at that moment. So on top of that, it was just scheduling battles. Like, for example, this battle was really hard to schedule, because he goes to university and I work full time, and we're 8 hours apart. That's not a good formula for trying to create a time frame when you can battle. So it was just one of those weeks where everything seemed to like stack on top of each other and stack on top of each other, to a point where I'm just like, okay, let's take a step back and try to relax. And put that with a couple other leagues, it was a tough week. And this is something like, I know I feel really bad, and like I'm sorry once again to all the commissioners and whatnot who allowed me to come back in, but it was something that I wasn't like enjoying anymore, and it was something that felt like a chore. So yeah, it was just something that was frustrating for me, because yeah, along with like battling, planning, and then recording, it was just I think it was just too much at that point. So thank you so much to everyone who's battled me, and I'm sorry for all those people who were looking forward to battling me. I really, really do apologize. The biggest compliment that I got in this league was just the amount of people who respected myself as a battler rather than, you know, like as a person and whatnot. There's so much respect on that end from everyone in the league, and I really, really do thank everyone for that, because that is just something that, you know, you don't expect a lot of times when a lot of people don't know about you, and it's just incredible to see that sort of respect from everyone. So thank you so much for that, respecting me as a battler, as a person, as a content creator, and I met a lot of cool people too. So thank you so much for that. It really made the decision so much harder for that, and yeah. But anywho, this is why you're not going to be seeing the WSS anymore on this channel, and you guys will still get your fair share of draft league form or content. Don't worry, I'm in way too many leagues, and you guys will keep on seeing that. You guys don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll see it. You'll see more shenanigans, some content that I want to create, and some content that I enjoy making too. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me and myself in the WSS, and I wish everyone all the best, and I'll be looking forward to see who is the Season 2 champion of the WSS. I've got my money placed on a couple people, so I'm not a gambling man, but hey, sometimes you gotta be, right? Sometimes you gotta be. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys around sometime, I guess. Peace.